All right, some of these guys in the lineup, like Ben Revere, Andrelton Simmons, Danny Espinosa, they've been fantastic defensively. Who steps up first offensively, do you think, moving forward?
I think that Andrelton Simmons is a guy who probably hasn't been hitting to his capability this season. You know, he's been a steady contact hitter for most of his career, and I think he's been kind of slumping a little bit here in the early goings. But I think that the Angels still think that he can be pretty productive. So I think that, you know, he hasn't really hit his stride yet, but I'm sure he will do that hopefully soon.
And then you mentioned the bullpen, which has been surprisingly good. I mean, Bud Norris, the fact that he's been able to fill in has been huge. What have you seen from this bullpen with guys coming in and out who aren't relievers necessarily normally in their career, and now they're being stuck there in that bullpen? What surprised you the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Angels kind of built an unconventional bullpen to begin with, just because they had brought in guys like Norris and Yusmeiro Petit, and they had kind of expected them to be multi-inning guys to, you know, be able to pitch more than one inning, because they kind of knew that their rotation was going to be it's going to be hard to get them deep into games. And Norris especially has been pretty surprising. You know, he'd been a starter for most of his career, so the bullpen was new to him, and then to be pushed to the back end so quickly, I think that was also very new territory for him. But he's actually performed pretty well as their closer. I think he's only blown about 2 saves, so he's been pretty effective. His fastball has ticked up a little bit. So I think it's a good spot for him, and I think that the Angels have definitely been surprised that he's kind of been able to step in and fill in, especially with guys injured like, you know, Houston Street, Cam Bedosian, and Andrew Bailey.
Well, guys that are on the DL, who do you see coming back and having the biggest impact with this team, maybe as we look forward into the future, into the summer?
Sure. So I think, you know, when they get some of their relievers back, I think that's going to be huge for them, just to kind of restore that back end depth. I think Yunel Escobar, once he comes back, he's like I said, he's been a very productive hitter for them this season. So I think kind of restoring him back to the top of their lineup will be big for their offense as well. So I think those are the 2 main guys who you're kind of looking at. Down the road, I think Tyler Skaggs coming back will be huge for them, but he's not really expected back until after the All-Star break, so he's a little bit more far off than those other 2 guys that I mentioned.